Hello there and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about sunless tanning. I've been getting a lot of questions recently. Some of you saw my t-shirt hack video and said, wow, you look really tan. Tell us how you did that. So I have done 3 videos in the past. Pretty much every summer I will do a sunless tanning video of some kind. And today I want to kind of combine bits and pieces of those videos as well as present some new information. So if you've not seen any of those previous videos, I will link them in the description box below. So this video is going to be kind of in 2 parts. The first part, I'm going to share with you my secrets of how I apply Sunless Tanner. I'm also going to show 2 different demos. I'm going to show you how to apply it to your hands, so your hands don't end up looking crazy. And then I'm also going to show you a demo of how I apply it to my face. Then I'm also going to give you some tips of what to do if you get those dreaded like big old splotches or streaks somewhere on your body. I'm going to give you a couple of tips of what to do in those cases. Then the second part of this video, I'm going to go through quickly my top favorite products, but also some new ones that have come on the scene. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about my top favorites because I did that last summer. And spoiler alert, my favorites from last summer are still my favorites this summer. However, I have tested some new products since then, and I want to share those with you and share my thoughts. Some are good, some not so good. So if you're interested in learning all about sunless tanning, then just keep on watching. Okay, so let's talk about the process of application and how you can get the most even application, and also I'm going to share with you my tip of how to get your darkest application within 1 day's time. For me personally, I only want to have to go through this process 1 time a week if I can help it. So I'm going to share with you how I do that. Now, if you want to apply Sunless Tanner every 2 or 3 days, great. You don't have to do it all in 1 day like I do, but there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind. When you're sunless tanning, you are going to have to wear looser fitting clothes for the day. You also want to have enough time to allow your sunless tanner to set and kind of dry a little bit before you get dressed. So that is why, personally for me, I like to do this on a weekend day when I have plenty of time in the morning. I also am going to set aside a second time during that day, so it needs to be a day that within 5-6 hours I can reapply. So what is my process? Well, for starters, in the shower, I use one of those loofah sponges to wash my body first. But what I do on tanning day is I really scrub my skin really well with body wash. Next is shave the legs. Then I go in with an exfoliator. An exfoliator is so important. There are so many different ones on the market. You can even make your own. If you have super sensitive skin, go in with at least baking soda. That is a wonderful, gentle exfoliator, but it still will do a good job. One of my all-time favorites is this one by Soap & Glory. This is the Smoothie Star Oat, Sugar, and Shea, and this is the Breakfast Scrub. I don't know whose idea it was to redo the label and put it in paper, but paper and humidity in the shower don't match well. But the product on the inside is still the same. This one has more of a little bit more of a rougher grit. I know that sounds terrible, but it's not uncomfortable, but it does a really good job of exfoliating, and it just smells absolutely delicious. So whatever your favorite scrub is for your body, you want to use that. Next, as you're getting out of the shower, you're going to take your towel and you're really going to scrub your skin dry. And again, that sounds terrible, but you really want to make sure you're getting as much dead skin off as possible. Also, if you are ending kind of your week of last week's sunless tanning, you're going to want to try and get off as much of the previous week's tan as possible. Now, you're probably still going to have little bits here and there, but that's okay. If you have any big splotches on your skin left, usually for me, this is around the ankle area, possibly the elbow area. I did a pretty good job this week, but sometimes you just have little spots that have excess sunless tanner. So what can you do there? The best thing that I have found is to take a washcloth that is almost dry And so you can just dampen it a little bit. You don't want this super wet, and you're just going to scrub on that area really well, and that is going to remove the sunless tanner. Now this is also a great tip if the next day after you've done sunless tanning you have some huge spot that you didn't rub in. Take your washcloth, kind of damp with just a tiny little bit of water, and rub over that area. The other thing that you can do, which is, it just seems crazy, but for some reason it works, is to take a Huggies wipe. So if you have any areas that are really splotchy or just have worn away unevenly, take a Huggies wipe or a baby wipe, whatever brand you have, and go over that area, and really, you're gonna have to really work on it, but it's amazing how it will help pull up that excess color. All right, so now that we've done all of that exfoliating on our skin, most companies will say go right in with your sunless tanner. For me personally, I need a little bit of moisture. So what I recommend is find a very lightweight moisturizer. This is a spray moisture milk. This was from Bath & Body Works last summer. I have not seen if they brought this back, but you want a very lightweight moisturizer, as lightweight as possible, and just put a light layer all over your body. And now finally, it is time to apply your sunless tanner. The next thing that is super important is a tanning mitt. I know I've heard from several of you that thought this was a gimmick and totally unnecessary. I'm telling you, this is one of the main keys to getting an even tan. Now there are all different companies. Almost every sunless tanner company has their own mitt. This is the St. Tropez, and this is a new one that they came out with that is dual-sided. On the inside, it's coated with a special plastic so that the sunless tanner will not seep through and get on the palms of your hand. You absolutely can apply sunless tanner with your hands, but that's when everybody ends up with orange palms. So I highly recommend using a tanning mitt. And like I said, I've used them from all different brands and have found them all to perform pretty well. The price points, amazingly enough, are about the same, whether you're buying one from Ulta brand or St. Tropez. Okay, then you are just going to take your tanning mitt, apply your sunless tanner, and work it one leg, one arm at a time. Take your time, rub it in, and then after you've applied it everywhere that you want your tan, you're going to go back in with just a slight little damp washcloth, and you're going to wipe off your elbow. You also, on your tops of your feet, you really want to do that last, and you're just going to go with a light sweeping motion over the tops of your feet. Now, what about your toes and your hands? So I'm going to insert here the demo of how I apply sunless tanner to my hands, and I also use this technique on my feet. And even though there's still sometimes on my feet, for some reason or another, I'll still get a little bit of unevenness, but since I've been doing this technique, it works so much better. And on my hands, this is the fail-safe. So what I do is I take this e.l.f. foundation blurring brush. I think this is a $6 brush. I've had this for 2 or 3 years. It works great for sunless tanner. So all you're gonna do, and you'll see me do this in the demo, is I put about a half a pump of my Instant Sun on there, and I just start swirling it all over my hands, making sure to get in between all of my fingers. And then you're gonna see me bend my fingers and work that sunless tanner into the creases of my knuckles and around the edge of the hand to the wrist. And then you're gonna lightly just blend that into the wrist. You only have to leave this on your hand for about 30 minutes, and then you can rinse it off. And I would highly recommend rinsing it off because your hands are going to tan much quicker than the rest of your body. And so I have found this little secret out the hard way, but you can, if you can leave it undisturbed for about 30 minutes, then rinse off from here, from your wrist down, just rinse it off and tap dry. And then the rest of the day you can wash your hands like normal, just don't scrub them dry. By the end of the day, you're gonna have tan hands. Okay, so now our whole body is tan, including our hands, but I have not addressed the face yet. because I do that overnight. So the rest of the day, what is really important after you've applied your tan is to leave it as undisturbed as possible. So I love to put on a swimsuit cover up, maybe a loose fitting robe for as long as possible. So what I'll do is I'll do that whole process, then go put my makeup on, do my hair, eat my breakfast, drink my coffee, and then when I must, it's time to get dressed. Now, I would highly recommend choosing your outfit for the day, choosing something that's super loose fitting that will not cut into your tan throughout the day. So even a top like this, even though it's not sleeveless, the sleeves are very loose and it is not going to give me a farmer tan. If you put on a tight top with a tight sleeve, or perhaps you wear skinny jeans, you're gonna end up with a seam where the seam is on the inside of your legs. It's just gonna happen. It's just how it is. So choose loose fitting clothes. I love to wear, if I have to go somewhere, sometimes in the summer, I'll just put on a really, like a maxi dress or shorts or linen pants, something like that with a sleeveless top, and go about your day. Now, if you want to get your full depth of color in one day like I do, anytime after about 4 hours. That's just a time frame that I have set for myself. There's nothing on the bottle that says that, but for me personally, I found if I leave the tan on for at least 4 hours, I usually try to push it maybe 5-6 hours. Then I just hop in the shower really quick and rinse the tan off. I'll use a little bit of soap on my hands, but no washcloth, no scrubs or anything, and just wash that layer of tan and the lotion off. Get out gently dry and apply a second layer of Sunless Tanner. This time I do not apply any lotion, just the Sunless Tanner. And the second time I also do not apply it to the tops of the feet. I also do not reapply it to the hands. Let it dry as long as you can, get dressed, and go about the rest of your day. By the next morning, you're gonna be super dark and tan. You can rinse off your tan. And for the next week, the only thing that's super important is you need to continue to really moisturize your skin. And after about 3 days or so, you do want to start gently exfoliating every other day, just to kind of keep tabs on anything that might be wearing off unevenly. Okay, so the last piece to the puzzle is tanning our face. Now there's 2 products that I do enjoy for this, but in the demo, I'm gonna show you my favorite, and that is by Tansuta, and it is in the shade Dark. So what I do is after removing all of my makeup and everything, I do not put anything on my skin. I'll put toner on, let that dry, and then I go straight in with this Tansuta face lotion. I just take really just a large pea-size amount and rub this all over the face. And again, you want to be really conscious about blending this in evenly. You get it all over the main parts of your face. And then you're gonna want to make sure that you blend it into your eyebrows and to your hairline. So after the majority of it is all blended in, you're gonna go back around your hairline. Then I apply just a little tiny bit more, and I put this on my ears. Because I have short hair, my ears show, and they will show up white if you don't put any Sunless Tanner on, and I really don't like to put makeup on my ears. So I'll just rub a little bit of this on the ears, also right below the ears, below the jaw, again making sure to blend down into the neck. So then after applying the Sunless Tanner to your face, you're gonna wanna again just try and leave it undisturbed. So I usually wear my glasses at nighttime, so I try to apply the Sunless Tanner either right before I'm going to bed, or I'll wait for that to sit on the face for about an hour and then put my glasses on, just so I don't end up with glasses marks on my tan. So then I just go to bed as normal, and when I wake up in the morning, my face is tan. Okay, so now let's talk about sunless tanning products. Now, in an effort not to repeat my video from last summer. I'm not going to go through every sunless tanner that I've tried and give you all of my ins and outs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the new products that I have been testing out recently, share with you my thoughts on those, and then I will finish up by telling you what my top products are, whether they're the same as last summer or not. I'm also not going to talk about products that are just an instant one-day tan. Things like this Tarte Better Bod or the Hard Candy Body Luminizer. If you're interested in just kind of one-day tans or just products that will enhance your tan, check out my video from last year because I go through all of those products that are my favorites. Okay, so let's first talk about 3 products that are new to me since last summer. And these products, what they have in common is they are those clear sunless tanning products. So let's start with the first one that I purchased. It's the St. Tropez Self Tan Purity. Now this one smells wonderful. It smells fruity, and this is a clear gel, and it has a nice pump here. It retails for $44, so it's a little bit on the pricey side, but you do get 6.7 ounces. Now this one claims that it will give you a natural looking glow within 3 hours. I would say you start to see a little bit of a glow in 3 hours, but you're not gonna see your full depth of color in 3 hours. This does dry fairly quickly on the skin, so that is a really good thing. I do apply it with a sunless tanning mitt, but here is the thing about this product. I have been doing sunless tanning for probably 15 years or more. I cannot apply this and not end up with streaks somewhere. So every time I have used this on my arms, on my calves, my lower legs, places where people are gonna see, I always end up with streaks, no matter how I rub it in. I've tried working it in with my hands, with the mitt, with a brush. Every time I end up with streaks. However, the color is very nice and natural. It's not nearly as deep as what I'm wearing here, but it is a nice natural glow. So if you can get this to work for you streak-free, more power to you. All right, the second one that I tried was the Sol by Jergens, and this is the water mousse. Now what's interesting about this is it says it's tanning active derived from natural sugars, and there's no artificial color in this whatsoever. So there's some good ingredients in this for sure. Now the scent on this is very similar to the St. Tropez. It has maybe a little more freshness, but there is a little bit of a citrus, but it is a really nice, pleasant scent. It does stay a little sticky though, longer than the other. The good thing about this is it's not, because it doesn't have any color in it, it's not going to transfer onto your clothes. It does give you a nice natural tan, but it is not the depth of color that I get from the Jergens Instant Sun. If you don't mind that it's not super dark, you might give this one a try. However, this one is 5 ounces and it retails for $23.99 at Ulta. So it is quite a bit more expensive than the Jergens Instant Sun. However, if you want an alternative to the St. Tropez, and I do feel like this one does give me a streak-free finish, then I would give this a try. The last clear sunless tanner, Isle of Paradise drops. Now, I just got these a couple weeks ago from BoxyCharm pop-up store. I was really excited to try these for, I think I paid maybe $12. Normally, this little bottle retails for $29. Now, they only had the shade medium, so I knew right off this was probably not going to be enough color on its own just for me. Now, the trick with these drops are you add them to your body moisturizer. So what I love about that concept is it's almost like you make your own gradual tanner. So I have not used these on their own on my just pale white skin, but the way that I have been using these is to help like on days 4 and 5 when my sunless tanner is starting to fade. I have used these with my body moisturizer just to add a little more color to my skin, even everything out, and I felt like they worked great. I've used them 2 days in a row and felt like after the second day I did see a pronounced amount of color. Now you can decide how many drops you apply depending on the level of depth of color that you want. So what I was doing was 4 drops like per arm, per leg, and that gave me, after 2 days, a little bit of color. I did feel like it blended nicely with the lotion. I didn't have any weird patchiness. And the weird thing is, these do not smell good. Man, I think the scent on this is horrible. However, when I mixed it with my lotion, I did not smell that scent anymore. I have felt this is a good option for a gradual tanner type of tanning product. However, for the cost, you just have to decide. When I got this, a quarter of the bottle had leaked out in shipping. So I used this maybe 4 times, and so I used maybe a quarter of the bottle 4 times. So you're not going to get a whole lot of uses out of this unless you're just using a couple of drops each day. But I don't know. It's something that if it's of interest to you and you do like more of that gradual tan process, that would be one that I would recommend checking out. Okay, so now let's get to one of my top favorite brands of Sunless Tanner, because I've tried something new from this line, and that's Tansuta. I love this line of Sunless tanning. The first reason why I love it is because it has a coconut scent, and I'm not talking about a chemical scent that's trying to cover up the awful scent of Sunless Tanner. It smells like coconut lotion. Now, they came out with an ultra dark version of their self-tanning body mousse. I love the lotion version of this. Now, I only have this in dark right now, but the ultra dark is my preferred shade in this brand. It gives me a super deep tan, and I do still apply it 2 times within 24-hour period, but it smells delicious. It's got a lot of really good ingredients for your skin. However, one thing about the lotion is it does not have a guide color. So that's a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it doesn't get on your clothes, doesn't get on your sheets, and I found it to be pretty easy to get a streak-free finish. However, I do love something with a pump, and I do like a guide color, so I was interested to try this. So the ultra dark version, it performs very well. It gives me a really good dark tan. So it gives me a tan that's even darker than this. The one thing, however, is the guide color is so strong that when you're going about your day, if you get any droplets of water on your skin, you are going to see part of that Sunless tanning guide color missing. It's not going to affect your tan that's developing through the day, which is a good thing. However, you're going to go around with a splotch right there of missing tan. So that's one thing that I don't like about products that have a super strong guide color. Also, the guide color on this, it's not quite as pink as their Express one. I reviewed that in my previous video, which I'll link down below, but it's still a color that as you're putting it on, you feel like it doesn't look quite even. However, once you rinse it off the next day, it develops into a really beautiful dark tan. So this is something that I do really like. However, their lotion I still prefer more, but I love the pump. And this is something that I will use if I don't have to go out and about on the day that I'm tanning, just because I think the guide color does kind of make the skin look a little bit kind of strange through the day. All right, and now for my top favorite body Sunless tanner. It is still the Jergens Instant Sun. This is going on at least 4 years. Whenever it came out first, 4 or 5 years ago, this is still my top favorite. The scent on this is just a very soft, kind of fresh scent. It is not that typical Sunless tanner scent. It has a decent guide color. However, if I get a drop of water here on my arm, it is not going to look like Sunless Tanner is missing. It does take, it says it dries in, what does it say? Dries in 60 seconds. That's not true. But it does dry fairly quickly. And by drying, I mean that the Sunless Tanner sinks in enough to wear like on your hands. If you wash your hands after 30 minutes, it's still going to continue to work. Now, I feel like I still want to wait at least 20 minutes before getting dressed. But about probably 2-3 hours into the day, I no longer feel tacky. So there's some Sunless Tanners that feel tacky all day. There's others like this one that does dry even quicker, but I do feel like overall performance and cost-wise, again, this one is under $12 if you get it at Walmart or Target. And I just feel like this is the best bang for your buck. And it really does provide a very long-lasting tan. I would say a good 4 days, I feel like I have a good amount of color. 5 and 6 days, 5 and 6, it's starting to fade, and that's when I'm gonna start using maybe something like this, or maybe a little body bronzer just to kind of help even things out. And then by 7, I'm usually back to wearing long pants or maybe a 3/4 length shirt, and then I'm ready to tan again. But I do feel like it wears away pretty evenly, and it's just overall for me is my top product still. Now, a couple of other things I mentioned, the Tansuticals face is by far my favorite for tanning the face. I love it because you only have to apply it once and you've got tan the next day. Now, another one that if you don't want quite that level of tan all at once, maybe you're a little afraid of getting too dark, another one that I have tried that works better than the Clarins tanning drops, in my opinion, is the Ulta brand. This is called Glow by Morning Gradual Tan Drops. These you just add to your moisturizer. It's kind of a similar idea as this, but this is just for your face. You add a couple of drops to your moisturizer, and for me, about 2 nights in a row gives me a good amount of glow. Now, one other product that I have tried recently that was a huge fail for me was this one, and this is by NKD Skin. This is Self Tan, and it says it's a pre-shower tan. Who doesn't love that idea, right? You're supposed to be able to slather this on. It's a lotion form. Put it all over your body 10 minutes before you're gonna shower. It's kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do here for 10 minutes, right? So I used this, and the first thing that hit me as I peeled off the seal on the inside was the scent. Okay, mind you, this says odor remove technology. Oh my word. This has the strongest scent of those bad Sunless Tanners that I have smelled in a long time. And so I'm putting this on and I'm like, okay, I only have to leave it on 10 minutes. But then what it says is you're supposed to shower normally, but don't use a moisturizing body wash. Well, pretty much every body wash that I own is a moisturizing body wash of some kind. Now, I did use one that wasn't real thick and lotiony, so I washed off, tried not to scrub it off. I patted dry. I did apply moisturizer. It didn't tell me whether I should or not. I applied lotion, just regular lotion, went about my day. Nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing developed. So, combined with the scent and the lack of any color, now I know it's supposed to be a gradual, buildable body and face tanner, but after one day, you should see something. And I saw absolutely nothing. So it's not something that I would recommend. All right, guys, so that wraps up this video. I hope that that was helpful for you. If you have been intimidated by sunless tanning, hopefully I've given you enough tips and encouragement and a good amount of product ideas to jump in there and give it a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You end up with some streaks and you gotta wear long sleeves for a couple days and do a little extra exfoliating. no big deal. Most of us are still at home most of the time anyway. So I think now is a great time just to get in your groove. And I know some of you are thinking, wow, that's a lot of work to put in week after week. Hey, if you are getting a real tan out in the sun, think of how many hours you have to be out there and you're constantly trying to work on not having lines here and there. Or if you're going to tanning beds and that takes a lot of time, multiple times a week. And think about the damage that both of those are doing to your skin. So give your skin some love, save yourself some damage, and try some sunless tanning. Now, if you're saying, hey, sunless tanning is not for me, I just want something instant every once in a while, then go check out the other video that I did last summer. It's bronzing products head to toe. I think that's what it's called. I'll link it here for you. And as always, thank you so much for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, I hope you'll hit that button below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.